we have so many tailwinds coming at us as an industry. So that part, like, I don't trade. Like, I'll put on positions here and there, but I'm not like trading intraday or trading over the course of like a week or swing trading or whatever, right? Like, that's not really where my focus is. My focus, where I spend a lot of time, is like, okay, what does adoption look like? This is where I think like I really like the community that's been built around Farcaster for that
Hmm.
reason, is because I feel like a lot of people are trying to figure out, okay, how do we get to a billion people on
Yeah.
chain, right? And how do we get them using crypto rails and decentralized rails? And I think, that's the part that like I find really interesting, right? And I'm trying to do my part, right? Of like, okay, like if I can onboard people through fashion or through clothes, right? Like, when I think about it through the aspect of NFTs, right? It's very much like, okay, great. Like our t-shirts are non-fungible. Like, we
Hmm.
understand that concept. We don't call them non-fungible t-shirts, but we inherently know that they're not fungible, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're semi-fungible at best, right? If I have this shirt and you're wearing the same shirt and mine has a coffee stain on it, your shirt's worth more. They're not fungible at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And so like these are concepts that as humans we inherently understand, but I think by using the nomenclature of NFTs or non fungible and fungible, like, we're overcomplicating things.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like I want to meet people where they are, which is why I'm doing the things with 90cc. I think we're in the process right now of setting crypto up to have that one breakout app. I don't know what it is,
Mm.
but I think it's coming. And like what that looks like, I don't know. But I'm really interested in a lot of like the consumer side of things, especially like the easier you can make this, right? The
Yeah.
easier it is to onboard. That's one of the things we've been working on with our flow, is like, how do I make it so easy that my mom can onboard in under 30 minutes? Like, she can basically sign up and sign into the 90cc ecosystem without having to like save a key phrase, right? And
Yeah.
like, do something that's like not convenient and be able to do it on demand, and then have that optionality of saying, hey, like, I want to self custody, so I'm going to move everything into
Yeah.
like my own self custody. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, probably like 80% of people, if not more, will not self custody,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just very inconvenient to do it. But I think it's very powerful if you want freedom in
Hmm.
order to have that option to self custody, because that means that you can exit the system of whatever it is when things aren't going your way, right? And
Yeah.
I'll use the FTX blow up as an example, where I didn't have any money on centralized exchanges. I would hold like small amounts of
Yeah.
money that were like just for like stuff here and there and for paying stuff, but the majority of my stuff is kept in self custodied wallets. And I remember, like, as FTX was blowing up, I was like, all right, well, I have no counterparty risk because everything is like safe in my wallets.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm open to, the only risk that I'm open to, is like the price of crypto
Yeah.
nuking because of
Hmm.
this event. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's fine. Like, I have now gotten rid of the riskiest part of it, of waking up one day and being like, oh yeah, like, you thought you had X amount of money at this exchange. Guess what? That's now zero. I'm like, fuck, because the reality is that's the world we live in in the banking system. The
Yeah.
reason why I bank with Chase is not because I think they're like the best bank or whatever. I think they're really good. But the number one reason why I put most of like my fiat with them is because they're too big to fail. If Chase fails, then the entire system is fucked. Like, we have bigger things to worry about if Chase goes under, you know?
Right.
And so, but like, I don't want to have to worry about things like that and contagion when it's like not necessarily like my line of work, right? Like, in trading, like, I always would have to, we always joke around that, like, you're just a risk manager, right?
Yeah.
You're just literally analyzing risk by the second and deciding if it's worth to keep the risk on for the reward that you think you can make, right? And
Right.
making the most educated guess that you can based on that. And so, but like, most people aren't equipped to do that, right? Like, if you have a full time job and your money's sitting in the bank, like, you expect that money to be there, right? And so when you wake up one day and you're getting like some sort of pennies on the dollar, right? Whether it's 10% lower or 90% lower, like, that's a risk that you don't really want. And that's, to me, is like what drew me to crypto, right? And I
Yeah.
think helping onboard people so that they understand it in whichever way that makes sense to them, and understanding that and having, I guess, a sense of financial literacy